Good morning, baseball fans. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the eighth inning stretch. Welcome to all of you watching on YouTube, watching on Twitch, watching on X Twitter. How's everybody doing this morning? I'll be honest with all of you. Carson and I were already talking about this a little bit before we came on. I will apologize to all of you if I'm not my normal happy-go-lucky self today. Most of you have probably heard by now the news that Tim Wakefield's wife, widow Stacy, passed away yesterday. Just not even 6 months after we lost him. And Carson, you and I were kind of talking about this, and basically that the Wakefield family just can't catch a break.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's obviously absolutely tragic. It's one of those things that supports the old saying of there are those couples who die of, once their partner passes, the other passes almost of a broken heart, and that seemingly is almost what had happened here. But obviously, first and foremost, thinking of the entire Wakefield family today, hopefully they're able to find strength and comfort in their friends and their family, in each other, during a very difficult time, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, if you want exhibit A of an example of life isn't fair, there you go. So yeah, anyways, really just, obviously just heartbreaking news in terms of that. So yeah, obviously we're all keeping the Wakefield family in our thoughts and in our prayers and whatnot. And not just the only that not only sort of the bad news we're starting off with. Blue Jays pitcher Eric Swanson, his 4-year-old son. Thankfully, good news. Well, some good news in that case, Carson. Eric Swanson's son, 4-year-old son, out of the ICU after being hit by a car just the other day.
Yeah, obviously good news there. Another thing where I saw that and almost had to do the old clean the glasses off to make sure I was reading it correctly, because that's one of those things that obviously you never want to read.
Right.
Very thankful this morning that he's out of ICU and appears to be recovering okay. But obviously, thinking of the Swanson family today as well, and very, very glad that he is okay, and seemingly recovering well enough to be out of the ICU.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely good news. Yeah, so starting off at a bit of a heavy note. Yeah, wow. I don't even know. Sometimes the universe can frankly go F itself. So anyways, on to oh man. On to somewhat lighter topics. A bit of housekeeping for us to do. A bit of programming notes. So it's Thursday, and some good news. So little good news, bad news here. Little good news, bad news, and then good news or whatever. But in any case, Carson, this is going to be our last Thursday show, at least for now, because your work sucks and they like changing your schedule.
Yeah, so essentially everybody, this is something that I found out about a couple of weeks ago, that my work schedule was going to be changing to where I'm basically working a full day open to close from Wednesday to Saturday. But I do have Mondays and Tuesdays off, so that'll be a little bit nice. But yeah, unfortunately, that does kind of affect things for the show. So we will be moving to just having an episode live streaming on Sunday and then coming out on Monday.
Mhm.
We're still kind of working on potentially other ways to get some content out there, so that you guys aren't deprived of us for the rest of the week. Obviously, we've got the Two Strike Count, the blog,
Yep.
as well. So got a couple of things that we're potentially working on to kind of fill that void.
Yeah, man, we gotta get you. We gotta get you writing for Two Strike Count.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll
People
be
have been, no, quite literally, people have been asking. Some of you have been actually, quite a few of you have been asking. Hey, when's Carson gonna write for the blog? So that's something we gotta get. Something we gotta get cracking on. And yeah, so kind of a like I said, kind of a good news, bad news, good news thing, because while we're obviously, we're gonna miss doing the show on Thursdays. You guys are gonna miss tuning in on Thursdays. But we will be live every Sunday, on YouTube, on Twitter/X, on Twitch, and of course wherever you get your podcasts. At all of that is at Linktree/Eighth Inning Stretch. So we'll still be here. We're not going anywhere. Yes, we do have some things cooking. We've got a couple of ideas bouncing around. Actually, we've got a poll going on right now on X Twitter, or Zitter, I guess, about that. And would you guys be more interested in sort of like a pre-recorded weekly MLB roundup video, or more interested in my passion project, which is a baseball history video pod series? So if you're not following us already at Eighth Inning Pod, make sure you do that, and make sure you vote in the poll. Or the other thing you guys could do, as always, you guys can drop us a line. Drop us a line at eighth-inningpod.com/mailbag or eighth-inningstretch@gmail.com, and let us know what you think about all that, and to send us your questions. Yeah, so I think that's everything for the housekeeping programming notes stuff. Yeah, so stay tuned to our Twitter and our YouTube channel for upcoming news on that stuff. Yeah, I think that was, what do I feel like there was? No, that's it. Okay. Uniforms. Carson, we need to talk about these uniforms. The quote unquote new uniform. So for those of you who aren't caught up, MLB switched their uniform supplier to, I think it's Nike. But they also made and this just, when I first heard about this, just blew my mind, and I went, well, why would you do that? Part of the partnership, Carson, for the uniforms is Fanatics, which anyone who's ever ordered anything from Fanatics knows the quality is not the best, shall we say.
Yeah, as one of those people who has ordered things from Fanatics, I can attest that definitely the quality has slipped. And I think by slipped I mean yeah, might as well try and run inside a building and slip on a sheet of ice. Kind of slipped. But yeah, these uniforms. I mean, but first of all, with these uniforms, let's just talk about the pants, okay? Because the pants are horrendously bad. They are see-through, and the last thing that I need to be seeing in my baseball is players that are basically exposed. So that is kind of gross. But the jerseys overall too, like the lettering, it seems like has shrunk. The lettering's shrunk now as well, and guys who even like 5 character last names now have like the little loop in it from how bad the quality of the lettering is, and it's just like overall it's just bad. I don't know how it got to this point where it's this bad, but they're just so bad.
I mean, okay, to be perfectly clear, we're not saying all stuff from Fanatics is bad.
No.
Fanatics actually has some really cool stuff. It's basically your one-stop shop for anything, for any kind of, sports apparel or, team merchandise. I mean, I'm pretty sure all the major sports leagues all funnel their team stores through Fanatics now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Fanatics does have some really cool stuff. We're not saying all, don't buy from Fanatics. Just if you're buying something you're going to wear, mostly like shirts and sweatshirts and stuff like that, just buyer beware, because their sizing is, yeah. You think you're getting one size, and then it ends up being a lot bigger or a lot smaller, depending on what it is. But yeah, no, back to the uniforms. These things are horrible. They're atrocious. They're awful. They look, man, they don't look like professional sports uniforms.
Yeah, absolutely not. And one thing too I had mentioned was the pants, what I'm
Oh
calling
yeah, the see-through pants. Yeah,
the pants predicament.
yeah,
But
see-through
yeah,
pants, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah,
Uh,
and yeah, I don't need like, don't get me wrong. I love seeing my players up close, but I don't need to see them that up
Not that
close. Like,
close. Yeah,
good
no.
grief.
Yeah, we don't need to see that much of our favorite players. No, it's just bad all around. And I don't really, I don't know. I sort of understand. I sort of get where MLB was going, and they thought, okay, and I mean, let's be honest, leagues over the years have changed, uniform suppliers. Baseball's done it several times. Um, Baseball's uniforms used to be, Russell Athletics. The NBA's done it. The NHL's done it. Whatever. So I get, okay, yeah, let's design cool new uniforms, and let's sort of cash in on the whole Fanatics craze, because Fanatics is so big and so popular. I get that part, but these things are just badly designed. And to the surprise of absolutely nobody, Carson, the teams and players are not happy. In fact, one team, the Kansas City Royals, basically got to where we're so unhappy with the uniform situation, they got permission to go back to the quote unquote regular uniforms, and the regular lettering on the, because you mentioned the lettering on the back. The lettering, for whatever inexplicable reason, they shrunk the font size. So the Royals petitioned to go back to the regular size lettering. And I don't think that's the end of it. I don't think the Royals are going to be the last team to sort of go to MLB and whoever's making these uniforms to go, yeah, we're not wearing these.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because it feels like this kind of sets a bad precedent, in terms of, and the reason why I say bad precedent is because if a team tries to do this and they get rejected, then the team can basically say, well, you did it for the Royals, why can't we do it too?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to
Mm-hmm.
open the door to literally everybody doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
this good on MLB for letting the Royals do this, but at the same time, to play a little devil's advocate for MLB, this could be really bad because
Mm-hmm.
it's basically admitting that a mistake was made, and it's going to open the door for every single other team to do this if they so wanted to.
I mean, I kind of feel like that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, but at the same time, then if that happens, where does this leave MLB's relationship with Nike or
Yeah,
Fanatics or
yeah.
whoever?
I mean, I'm not. I don't think they need to go as far as terminating this partnership with Nike and Fanatics. I mean, look at how awesome a job Nike did with is it Nike that does is it the NHL jerseys that are Nike now?
No, the NHL or Adidas.
Adidas. Who does? I thought somebody had Nike jerseys. Maybe not.
Although the NHL is going to Fanatics starting next season.
Well, here we go again. No, I don't think MLB needs to go as far as, terminating their partnership with Nike and Fanatics. I mean, Nike is Nike. Nike is a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not old, but I mean, Nike's been around as long as they have for a reason. They make good stuff. Like, don't push the button on this thing. Just fix it. Just, okay, these uniforms are terrible. We need to redesign them. But yeah, I mean, it would obviously not be ideal for all the teams in Major League Baseball to get together and be like, yeah, these uniforms suck, fix it. But maybe that's what needs to happen. Maybe all the Royals already did it. Maybe all 30 teams all getting together and going to Major League Baseball. I mean, like, hey, look, these uniforms suck. We're not wearing these, because they look like, I was going to say they look like Little League uniforms, but Little League uniforms look better than that. Maybe that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, maybe it is, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of fallout could potentially come of that.
Yeah, because so far, both MLB and Nike/Fanatics have been, they've been quiet about this. They haven't, answered any direct questions, specific questions. Like, I don't know, but all I know is they've got time. The good news is they've got time. We're still in spring training. Opening day is about a month away. A little less, it's like 20, 28 days, whatever. I hope that everybody can sort of get together and all agree. Because I mean, nobody, MLB, Fanatics, nobody can look at those uniforms and be like, yes, these are high quality uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say that, at least in the condition they're in right now. And some of the pictures I've seen on social media, especially like the jerseys are bad enough, but for me right now, we got to fix these pants. We got to fix these pants quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah, at least fix the pants. Make the pants, not basically see through. Yeah, fix the pants. But I mean, I really hope everybody can sort of get together and go, yeah, we need to fix this. Because right now, I don't think no player, no team is going to want to go run out on opening day wearing these things.
Yeah, no.
So hopefully that all gets resolved. Hopefully that gets fixed. Because the way it is right now is just not, it's not okay. All right, that's I feel like we could talk all morning about the uniforms. But we need to talk some good news. Yay, good news. So I think we mentioned when we did our, I don't know. We did talk about Cody Bellinger at some point and the injury. But good news for Mets fans, Carson. Cody Bellinger, the Mets only expect him to be out for a few weeks, and it sounds like he's pretty much on track to start the regular season.
Yeah, which is obviously good news. Because when we had talked about it in the season premiere, we didn't know, didn't know the extent of the injury, didn't know potentially how long he could be out. So, very good news for for Mets fans, and something to kind of at least ease the pain of losing him for a little while.
Yeah, so I just pulled up a Mets and Boras starter. Cody Bellinger has been shut down for 3 weeks. Yeah, so they give him a PRP injection to sort of address his right shoulder strain. Once the 3 weeks elapse, Senga will be allowed to begin a throwing program. Yeah, so I mean, well, so this says, yeah. So shut down for 3 weeks, and then he'll start throwing, which means he probably, unfortunately, won't. He's clearly not going to be ready for opening day, which I don't know about you, but most of the stuff that I had read had said that Senga was slated to be the Mets opening day starter, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's one of the reports that I had found during the season premiere was that he probably wasn't going to be ready for opening day. That appears to be the case. But it sounds like, yeah, shut him down for 3 weeks, then let him start throwing again. So I would imagine,
I mean,
we won't see him for the start of the regular season, but shouldn't be very long before we would see him again.
yeah, I mean, obviously not having available for opening day is not ideal, but having to shut him down for 3 weeks and push him back a little bit is a hell of a lot better than, losing him for 6 months or losing him to the All-Star break or longer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt.
So hang in there, Mets fans. You will see Cody Bellinger on the mound. And actually, this whole Cody Bellinger thing got me thinking. Carson, I saw a video the other day of, I think it was I don't remember if it was a game or if it was just a workout. I think it might have just been a workout. But Mets fans can take heart and rejoice at the fact that their superstar closer Edwin Diaz is healthy and ready to go.
Yeah, obviously a very good thing. That he'll be back and ready to start the season. So Mets fans are on the right track again for a successful season.
Yeah, I mean, after losing Diaz last year for the whole year basically to injury. Yeah, so and good news for Mets fans, Carson, and good for the rest of us because we get to hear the trumpets. The trumpets will be back at Citi Field.
Yeah, one of the most electric entrances in baseball. Yohan Duran's over here in Minnesota, notwithstanding. I don't care. That's my bias showing, but yes, one of by far the best entrances in baseball.
I mean, for my money, the current best closer entrance in baseball. I'm sorry, Twins fans, but I mean, Yohan Duran, I do really like Yohan Duran's. He's got a great entrance, but there's something about those trumpets, man, that just make you want to run through a wall. So anyways, so little good news, bad news there for Mets fans. Good news for Dodgers fans. We're just we started the show with bad news and now we're just dishing out all this good news. Good news for Dodgers fans, as if as if you guys haven't had enough of that this winter. But a little more good news for Dodgers fans. Super utility man Kike Hernandez back with the Dodgers.
Yep, Kike is back. Kind of the door was kind of opened for that once they traded Manuel Margot over here to Minnesota. Seemed like the reports very quickly after that were basically as soon as that trade was confirmed that Kike Hernandez was probably on his way back to LA. And Kike actually broke the news himself. So
he did. That was great.
MLB insider Kike Hernandez, everybody.
I know.
But yeah, obviously awesome re-signing for the Dodgers. Kike Hernandez throughout his career, like AJ has said, has been a super utility guy who can play just about everywhere and anywhere, which is always that's nice to have on any given team.
I'm pretty sure the only position pitcher, obviously, but the only other fielding position Kike Hernandez has never played, I'm pretty sure is catcher.
Yeah, makes sense.
Dude's played everywhere else. Yeah, no, big Kike Hernandez fan. Even before and after his all too brief stint with my Red Sox. So Hernandez and the Dodgers, a 1-year deal, $4 million. Not a big surprise there. Hernandez is 32, starting again in the back nine of his career, but finished last year with the Dodgers, Carson, 54 games with the Dodgers last year. In his stash line, rewind. His stat line, 262, 308, 423, 5 homers and 30 RBIs. Not too shabby.
Yeah, not too shabby at all. So he'll probably be more of, again, kind of that bench or utility type guy at this point in his career, but a solid bat to have coming in off the bench or potentially to pinch hit, good contact hitter as well. So
I actually just found that we were talking about that he's the one that broke the news himself. I just found his tweet was, sources say I'm back. First to break news at myself. Hilarious. I love it. I wish more players would do that.
Yeah, very funny for sure.
That's great. Oh man. So oh wow. So this is kind of a cool moment. This is a proud moment for us, Carson. So for those of you who don't know, when we're doing this, we've got, 20 million tabs open, and one of the tabs that I usually keep open is X Twitter. And right now, Carson, as I'm looking at my Twitter feed, on the right-hand side of the screen where it tells me what is airing, what's streaming live on X right now, we are listed. The 8th inning stretch is hosting episode 107. Cody Bellinger back with the Cubbies. This is so fucking cool.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty cool.
Oh my god. We're trending, everybody. We're trending. Holy crap. Okay, that's pretty freaking awesome. So thank you to all of you, because let's be honest, you guys are the reason that we're trending. But anyways, I just saw that and that was I had to point that out. So Kike Hernandez is back with the Dodgers, and then the Giants, the San Francisco Giants, who have had could we call it an underrated offseason that the Giants have had?
Yeah, I think
it's a bit underrated. But the Giants have kind of quietly had we've talked about it. There's been a bunch of teams that have sort of quietly had a really good winter. Strangely, 2 of them are in the NL West. But the Giants went out and they signed themselves Brandon Crawford.
So actually, AJ, I do have a small correction here. It was actually the Cardinals who have signed Brandon Crawford.
It was the Giants. What? Really?
Yes.
Oh. Why did I think it was the Giants?
Because Brandon Crawford is synonymous with the San Francisco Giants. He didn't envision him going anywhere else, but
okay.
Yes,
you're right.
Indeed signed with the St. Louis Cardinals.
You're right. I see it. Why did I? Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad you pointed that out before I went too far down that road. So Cardinals, let's see, looks like a $2 million deal. It looks like a $2 million deal for, I'm guessing, 1 year.
I believe so. That's at least what I had.
Yeah, if it's only $2 million, I'm guessing it's 1 year. So anyways, the St. Louis Cardinals have signed 3-time All-Star Brandon Crawford. He's 37. Probably, most likely going to be a backup to Mason Wynn, I would think. Because Tommy Edman still recovering from wrist surgery. So one would think the depth chart at shortstop would go Mason Winn and then Crawford.
Yeah, and that's at least what doing a little real time research. That's at least what I saw from Katie Wu, who covers the Cardinals for the Athletic. She had said that it sounded like Mason Winn would be the starter, Brandon Crawford would be the backup, but that depth at shortstop was something they had been pursuing for the last about week or so. And who better to pursue in terms of depth than Brandon Crawford, who, again, has spent his entire career up until this point with the San Francisco Giants. Good veteran presence to have in that clubhouse as well, for a team that's looking to kind of get back to where they should be and used to be. And, the Cardinals, obviously, another one of these teams, though, that has had a quietly very good offseason, bringing in Brandon Crawford, Sonny Gray, obviously kind of being the biggest name, but, they're stacking up again in St. Louis.
Yeah, and they've sort of been, obviously, with the departure of Albert Pujols and Adam Wainwright, and the Cardinals have been a little lacking in the veteran presence category. So, yeah, I mean, Brandon Crawford, 13 years in MLB, all with the Giants to this point. And let's not forget also Brandon Crawford, a key part of the Giants 2012 and 2014 World Series titles.
Yeah, absolutely a huge part of both of those teams.
Yeah, so that's there have been quite a few signings. There have been quite a few signings this winter that I've gone, I've looked at and I'm like, yeah, that's a good signing. I really like that. But man, I love this signing. I love this pickup for the Cardinals.
Yeah, absolutely a great signing here. An awesome depth signing as well. So,
Yeah, big time.
huge signing. Good for Brandon Crawford. And yeah, well done all around.
Yeah, that's gonna end up being a really big pickup for the Cardinals. I feel like, even if he's just, even if he's mostly coming off the bench, and who knows? I mean, Mason Winn. Obviously we want Mason Winn to do well, but Mason Wynn's a rookie. Rookies can be unpredictable. So, I mean, if Mason Winn needs more time to sort of get up to speed, I mean, looking down that Cardinals bench, and seeing Brandon Crawford and being able to put him in at shortstop is not a bad place to be.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I mean, that's like, yeah, that's like bringing Babe Ruth off the bench. No, I'm not comparing Brandon Crawford.
Whoa.
No. Whoa. Time out. I'm not. Oh my God. Here come the angry emails. No, I'm not saying Brandon Crawford is Babe Ruth. I'm just saying, like, having a veteran presence like that to bring in off the bench is, you know what? Forget it. Forget I said that. Oh my God. Oh, why did you compare Brandon Crawford to Babe Ruth? Are you crazy? I can see the emails now. Anywho, moving right along to our sort of feature story. Cody Bellinger. So we've been talking about the Boras Four. It's been everywhere. Cody Bellinger, Matt Chapman, Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, about how Scott Boras has been doing Scott Boras things, and playing games and messing around with MLB execs, as he likes to do. But Cody Bellinger, the first of the Boras Four to sign, signed a 3-year, $80 million deal. More on that in a moment, with the Chicago Cubs. So Bellinger back to the Cubs. Let's start with the impact on the Cubs. We talk about teams that have had really good winters. Chicago Cubs, please stand up.
Yeah, obviously a big move to get Belly back. Had kind of a career resurgence a little bit in Chicago.
Yep.
So good to see that for him, and good thing for the Cubs, I think, overall, to get him back. Especially when there was some speculation, I know, earlier in the offseason of that he could get some big money. So awesome that they were able to get this job done. But Scott Boras, what are you doing, man? Like at this point, it feels like you're costing these guys money. Because I don't
Yep.
know, AJ. I can't shake this feeling that if Cody had signed somewhere earlier, that he would have gotten more money. I can't shake that feeling. And maybe, we don't know all the conversations that go on. Maybe Cody Bellinger wanted to go back to Chicago and wanted to get a deal done there. And maybe Boras, said that the asking price for him was to the moon. And eventually they had to resolve. We don't know. But I can't help but shake this feeling that he is costing these guys who are holding out. He is costing them money. And at this point now, he's costing them time to get ready for the new season.
Okay, a lot to unpack here. One, yeah, Scott Boras. But a lot to unpack here because this deal, yeah, 3 million, 80, yeah, 3 million. 3 years, 80 mil is nothing to sneeze at. But some of the early sort of estimates that I saw about Cody Bellinger were north of 100 mil. I mean, I think I saw one that said, Cody Bellinger could get himself 120 mil. But the Cubs, in fact, this is a sweetheart. This is a sweetheart deal I think this is a better deal. And this sort of goes to your point about Boras costing his clients money. This is a sweetheart deal for the Cubs because, yeah, it's 3 years, 80 million, but only the first year is guaranteed. After that, Cody Bellinger can opt out. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's 3-year, $80 million deal with the opportunity to opt out and become a free agent again after each of the first 2 seasons. I mean, if you're the Chicago Cubs, you're going, yeah, okay, sounds good to us. We get Cody Bellinger guaranteed for a year, and then after that, we might not have to pay him. But yeah, Scott Boras, I don't even know where to start. Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that Scott Boras represents all 4 of these players, and of course now Cody Bellinger has signed. But yeah, I mean, Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery. I mean, Blake Snell and Montgomery have been, I think, the 2 biggest names on the free agent market since the end of last season.
Yeah, no doubt about it in my mind.
I mean, obviously, putting aside Shohei Ohtani, because Shohei Ohtani was the biggest free agent name on the market, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto also. I mean, those guys, but that's like a whole other. They're sort of in their own little category over there. But yeah, Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery. I mean, every day, man. Every day as I'm scrolling Twitter, as I'm scrolling The Athletic, the 2 names that I keep seeing pop up are Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell. And I swear, if I have to read one more rumor about Jordan Montgomery to my Red Sox, I'm gonna lose it. Because it's like, and I can't be the only. We can't be the only fans that feel this way. That we're all reading all these stories every day about Chapman and Snell and Montgomery and Scott Boras, and it's just like, man, hurry up and like get something done already.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, this is a good move for the Cubs.
This
is a good move for Cody Bellinger to get back to the Cubs, and
this is a win-win.
only reinforces my take from the season preview that this division is the Cubs to lose.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I picked the Cubs to win the Central. I think we both did.
We did indeed.
Yeah. No, I mean this is a great move for this is a win-win for the Cubs and Cody Bellinger. It always sort of felt all along like Cody Bellinger wanted to go back to Chicago and that the Cubs wanted to have him back, so it's a win-win there. Having Cody Bellinger on your team can only be a good thing. And I think this further solidifies the Cubs' position. The Cubs are in the driver's seat in the NL Central. That's even more so now with Cody Bellinger on board. But the question we have to ask, okay, Cody Bellinger signs a smaller deal than pretty much everybody was expecting. We have to ask, like, we have to look at what does that mean for Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery and Matt Chapman. First of all, I think Jordan Montgomery is going to be the last of these guys to sign.
At this point, it's kind of looking that way, which is insane. But
it's all Boras' fault. This, ladies and gentlemen, this all falls at the feet of Scott Boras, because, and I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if in his mind Scott Boras thinks he's doing right by his clients by trying to get them, the most money he can. But he's not doing right by his clients. You said it earlier. I don't know about the costing these guys money. I mean, if all of these guys end up signing these short-term deals for less than their perceived market value, then yeah, he is costing the money. But the real issue, and you said it, the real issue, he's costing these guys time. We're full swing into spring training now. It's not. I mean, it is an issue for Matt Chapman as a fielder, as a position player. But all this lost time, this is an even bigger issue for Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery. These guys are pitchers. They need time. They need time to throw and stretch out their arms.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's safe to assume that all of these guys, Chapman, Snell, and Montgomery, I think it's a pretty safe assumption that these guys are working out. I mean, they must be.
Yeah.
It's not like they're sitting around, they're not sitting on the couch. These guys are athletes. They're working out, but they're not working out with a team as part of a unit. And I just, like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how this is gonna shake out. I mean, I don't know, man. They're missing precious time, and also, I mean, assuming they sign with, I mean, we have no idea where these guys are going. I mean, I think the most likely of these three to go back to Bellinger went back to the Cubs, so he went back to the team he was with last year. Matt Chapman will probably go back to the Blue Jays, but Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery, there's a really good chance that they're going to be with new teams. And they're missing out on not only on practice time and workout time, they're missing out on building chemistry with new teammates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know what Scott Boras is thinking. This is just a messy situation all around. And the other thing to consider is, okay, Cody Bellinger, 3 years, $80 million. Again, nothing to sneeze at, but because it took so long for someone to sign Cody Bellinger and ended up being the team that he was on last year. I mean, you have to wonder if if GMs and executives are just they're just done with Scott Boras. They've had enough.
Yeah, you have to wonder. That's for sure.
I mean, you have to think that these execs are looking at Snell and Montgomery and Chapman and going, all right, we're perfectly content. You know, I don't know, man. If I'm an MLB exec, and I'll put on my GM hat here for a moment. If I'm a GM, I'm looking at these three guys and be like, yeah, okay, one of these, Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, Matt Chapman, yeah, this they would help our team. They would help our team immensely. We would love to have one of these guys on board, but sorry, Scott, we're not gonna be pressured into signing a contract that we don't want, that we're not comfortable signing.
Yep, which is why one of the few things that I've actually liked Manfred saying is a free agent deadline. It might be needed.
As much as I hate to agree with Rob Manfred, yeah, I don't think it's the worst idea. But it's got to be done right.
Agreed.
And it's got to be done. You can't do it in a way you can't do it in a way that punishes the players.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, these players are the players are, well, I wouldn't say owned by their agents, but the agents are the ones that make the deal. So it's gotta, I think you can do it. And I think you can do it in a way that basically, I think you could do it in a way that puts the pressure on the agents to get deals done and basically not do what Scott Boras is doing right now.
Yeah, agree 100%.
I mean, hell, why don't we just call it the Scott Boras rule? Because that's pretty much what it would be.
Yeah.
We can call it the Boras rule. I like it. Yeah, how would that? So I know I read about Manfred, but what was his idea?
I think it was like have a deadline that all free agents had to be signed by like a certain day, like in December or something.
See, I'm not sure if I'm about it, because all right, let's here we go, everybody. Carson and I are gonna put on our commissioner hats here for a moment. See, December, that feels a little, that feels like it's too soon.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
You got to think, okay, the season ends, the last possible, what's the last, like, what's the last possible day of the World Series? It's like early November, right?
Yeah.
It's like the very beginning of November. I mean, if you think the World Series ends late October, early November. Yeah. See, asking teams to make those kind of decisions by December is, I would think more along the lines of like, I don't know. I mean, it's got to be before. I think it has to be before spring training starts, before players report to spring training.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, spring training starts, towards the end of February, maybe February 1st.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that, or like mid-February.
Or mid-February, as long as it's before spring training, because, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like players who haven't signed by then are, well, I mean, we just talked about it. Players who haven't signed by then are at a huge disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually just trying to find know I saw that article. Yeah, Commissioner Rob Manfred recently reiterated his desire for an off-season signing deadline, one that would fall sometime in December. Yeah, see, I think December is too. I think December is too early. Yeah. We would prefer to have a free agent signing period, ideally probably in December, with a deadline that drove people to make their deals, get things settled. Unsurprisingly, Carson, the MLB Players Association boss Tony Clark shut that down right quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes, because that's going to be. Yeah, I mean, Manfred's idea is pretty much DOA, but yeah, all these articles are about how the Players Association is basically like, no. But I mean, maybe that's something that they can work on. But that's going to be a contentious. Yeah, that's going to be a contentious issue. But I get it. I again, as much as I hate to agree with Rob Manfred, I get where he's going with this. Because having the free agency market drawn out, I mean, we're well into spring training, and opening day will be here before it. Having it drawn out this much is not a good thing for anybody.
Yeah.
Of course, the other issue is this whole Diamond Sports thing that's been drawn out, and teams are unsure about their revenue and whatnot. So that's another part of this. But yeah. So that's something to keep an eye on. That's something we'll keep an eye on, because I don't think this is going away, especially with Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, and Matt Chapman still unsigned about this deep into spring training. So anyways, all right, let's play some buy or sell. Speaking of the aforementioned Jordan Montgomery and Carson, buy or sell that Jordan Montgomery will re-sign with the Texas Rangers.
I genuinely have no idea at this point. It feels like it feels like with Jordan Montgomery that to keep it more of the Texas vibe, there is a tumbleweed going across the town of Montgomeryville, because
Yes.
I don't know about you, AJ, but I feel like I haven't heard anything as far as where Jordan Montgomery has been, except for tweets that you retweet about connecting him to the Red Sox. But other than that, I've seen like nothing on him. So
Yeah.
I guess I have to buy because of the pure little speculation I've seen, but I honestly have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't seen anything. I mean, with any of these guys, I haven't seen anything concrete whatsoever. There have been a lot of connections between Jordan Montgomery and my Red Sox. They've had some conversations. It sounds like the Red Sox are sort of doing what everybody else is doing, and they're kind of, they're sort of playing the waiting game. They're just waiting out Scott Boras until they can, get the price down so they're not overpaying. No, I think I'm going to sell this. I think Montgomery goes. I don't know if it's by Red Sox. One can only hope, but I think Jordan Montgomery goes somewhere else. The only scenario in which I see Jordan Montgomery going back to the Texas Rangers, which, let's be honest, with all the injuries and whatnot that they're dealing with, the Texas Rangers need Jordan Montgomery more than Jordan Montgomery needs the Texas Rangers. But the only scenario I see Jordan Montgomery going back to the Rangers is if it's down to if it's down to the wire and he still hasn't signed somewhere else, and the Rangers offer him a 1 or 2 year deal for a decent amount of money.
Yeah, at this point, it probably will get to that point, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what team at this point is going to be willing to fork over that kind of money.
Yeah, no, I don't either. It seems like teams are, I mean, other than the Dodgers, who have been spending like a drunk sailor on shore leave, yeah, teams just don't seem. And again, there's a lot of factors to that. There's the Diamond Sports TV rights thing and whatnot. But yeah, so no, I don't think Montgomery goes back to the Rangers unless it is down to the unless we're down to the wire and nobody else has been willing to pony up. All right. Speaking of big name free agents, well, one who actually has signed with a new team, Juan Soto. Carson, buy or sell that Juan Soto will not be a New York Yankee in 2025.
I'm 100% selling this. There's no way that you make a trade like this for
Ooh.
Juan Soto and don't intend him to stick around for at least a few years, especially with an organization like the New York Yankees. I don't see it. Sell.
Yeah. Oh man. I I as weird as it sounds, I want to sell this, even though I wish nothing but the worst for the Yankees for obvious reasons. But no, I'm gonna buy this one, and here's why. I know all good points, about the the trade and the links they went to get Juan Soto. But Juan Soto as a New York Yankee feels like a really expensive rental to me. And the fact that Brian Cashman has come out that it's that it's unlikely that the Yankees and Soto will agree to an extension before the upcoming season. I mean, maybe they get something done during the season, but I don't know, man. This just doesn't. And if we were talking about the Yankees, 5, 6, a few years ago, when they were still run like the Yankees, yeah, I would sell this all day. But no, I think this turns out to be a really expensive rental for the Yankees.
I suppose we'll see, but I don't see how the Yankees being the Yankees, they don't really do, they're not really in the rental business. If you come into the Yankees, a lot of times you're there for a few years, especially superstars of Juan Soto's caliber.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting to watch. I mean, I don't know. I just the way they're talking. I mean, Juan Soto says he wants to be a Yankee, long term, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Something just doesn't quite fit there. But anyways, I guess we'll see. All right. So one of the big headlines of the offseason was the Orioles being sold to an ownership group who, at least on the surface, seems like they're committed to spending and putting putting together a contender and putting a good team on the field. But the Orioles have a lot of young stars. They've got Adley Rutschman. They've got Ryan Mountcastle. The Orioles have got a lot of young stars. So, buy or sell that the Orioles' new ownership will lock up their young stars.
I have to buy this, otherwise I'm going to be very, very mad. I mean, you have to at this point.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I wouldn't go out and sign I wouldn't sign Jackson Holiday to a massive extension right now, because it's like, well, okay, that might be a little bit too much. Like pump the brakes a little bit here, but
Yeah.
I'd at least start exploring at the very least start exploring your options. This is a decision that's going to come very quickly, and these are a lot of young guys who I think you need to have in the organization for for not only yourselves, but for your fans. Get those guys who are faces of the franchise locked down. So 100% buy this. If it doesn't happen, I will be not a very happy camper.
You won't be a happy camper. Imagine how unhappy Orioles fans would be.
Very true. I would be angry for you, Orioles fans.
Yeah, ditto. Yeah, I would be angry for the Orioles fans. No, I'm gonna buy this. I think the new ownership group, again, at least on the surface, seems like they've got their act together. They're a lot more. They're seem to be better in every way than the Angelos, so that's a pretty low bar, admittedly. No, but I'm gonna buy this. I mean, you've got to. Yeah, maybe hold off on Jackson Holiday, like you said, but you've got Adley Rutschman, you've got Gunnar Henderson, you've got Ryan Mountcastle. Who am I forgetting? Why do I feel like I'm forgetting somebody? Grayson Rodriguez. Yeah, I mean the Orioles have an embarrassment of riches of young talent, and especially after the year they had last year. And with the aspirations and the potential that they have this year, you've got to get these guys locked up. Have to. They've got to keep that young core together. So here's hoping that the new ownership group is of the same mind. And last but not least, another one of the Boras Four we're talking about. We talked about him a little bit earlier, Matt Chapman. Carson, buy or sell that Matt Chapman will re-sign with the Blue Jays?
This one's hard, but I'll buy it. I don't see him going anywhere. I think he'd be a piece that Toronto needs to bring back.
Yep.
They've been another team that quietly has had a solid offseason, bringing back Kevin Kiermaier and getting some other pieces locked up, and to bring back Matt Chapman, I think would be another good piece into getting back into postseason contention and potentially going a little bit further than just the wild card round this time around.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna buy this too, and I think the Blue Jays have to sign Matt Chapman. One, right now it doesn't sort of feel like they have an everyday third baseman. Two, and we'll probably get more into this down the road at some point, but there is tremendous pressure on the Blue Jays. I think going into this year, because okay, cool, you've been to the wild card a couple of years in a row, but they haven't done much beyond that. I think this is a make or break year for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% agree. Big time for Mr. John Schneider, who I think should be on the hot seat, and rightfully so.
Yeah, his hot seat might be the hottest hot seat as far as managers go. It's put up or shut up time north of the border there. And I think Matt Chapman goes a long way. I mean, obviously Matt Chapman is Matt Chapman, but I think Matt Chapman goes a long way in moving you in the right direction. Although I will buy this. I do buy that Matt Chapman will sign with the Blue Jays, but Carson, at the same time, I would not be the least bit surprised to see Chapman go to my Seattle Mariners. I've seen a lot of talk about that.
Yeah, that'd be another good spot for him.
Because talk about a team that needs shoring up in their infield. Man, Matt Chapman at the corner. Yes, please sign me up. All right, that's buy or sell. We'll get to the mailbag here in a second. Don't forget, we are live on YouTube, X, Twitter, and Twitch. You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts at Linktree/8th Inning Stretch. Don't forget to follow us on 8th Inning Pod on the platform formerly known as Twitter. And for more, including our blog, 2 Strike Count, and to sign up for our newsletter, head on over to 8thinningpod.com. And please don't forget to take a minute and support the show using the QR code right there in the corner of your screen if you're watching, or if you're not watching and you're listening to us later. All you got to do is go to 8thinningpod.com/donate, and we appreciate all your guys' support. If you are watching this on YouTube right now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. All right, the mailbag. Again, you guys can drop us a line at eighth-inningpod.com/mailbag or eighth-inningstretch@gmail.com, and we just might read your message on an upcoming episode. Here we go. Leading off the mailbag is Jessica D, who says, do you think there's any chance Jordan Montgomery goes back to the Cardinals? I like it.
Personally, I say no.
I like it. I like where Jessica's going with this.
I absolutely like the idea in principle, but personally, I say no. I think Sonny Gray was kind of their big addition for this offseason. Would Jordan Montgomery make sense in that rotation? Absolutely, but
oh hell yeah,
I think a lot of it is going to come down to money. And I think quite frankly, especially with the investment they made into Sonny Gray, the Cardinals might just get outbid.
Yeah, it feels like I like the idea. I like the thinking. I really do. But no, I don't see that happening. I mean, like you said, it feels like because they went out and got Sonny Gray, that Sonny Gray is, I mean, Sonny Gray is obviously ace material. It feels like Sonny Gray is the new ace of that Cardinal staff, and yeah, I don't see them spending the money on Jordan Montgomery. We kind of talked about it earlier. If it gets down to the wire and Montgomery still hasn't signed somewhere and ends up taking a sort of a ends up taking sort of a less ends up taking less money just to get just to be signed somewhere. I don't think it would be the Cardinals. I think it would be the Rangers, like we were talking about earlier. So, but I like the thinking. All right. Austin F as a GM. Ooh, we get to put on our GM hats again. Would you rather sign Blake Snell or Jordan Montgomery?
Blake Snell, and for me, it's not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Wow.
No disrespect to Jordan Montgomery, but we're talking about the National League Cy Young Award winner.
Yes, good point.
We're talking about a guy who literally was deemed the best pitcher in the National League. Now, obviously, Jordan Montgomery had a fantastic season, but at the end of the day, we're talking about a guy in Jordan Montgomery who was still the number 3 pitcher probably in that Texas Rangers rotation to start the year, and kind of got thrust into the ace spotlight, whereas Blake Snell has practically been an ace pretty much his entire career. So for me, just kind of based on a lot of it is based on pedigree, but right now for me it's Blake Snell, and it's not even close.
Oh man. Yeah, I've always been a big Blake Snell fan. Pretty big Jordan Montgomery fan too. I just I don't know. I mean, you made all really good points about Blake Snell, Cy Young winner, ace material. I mean, and unquestioned. You can't question his ace pedigree. And yet, you talked about Jordan Montgomery sort of getting thrust into that role with the Texas Rangers. I mean, the dude, you can't deny the dude answered the bell in the playoffs last year.
Absolutely, 100%.
I'm leaning mostly towards Blake Snell. Well, can I say both? Is that an option?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't think we'd have enough money for that, but
all right, Blake Snell. a oh man, I could never be a GM because that's trying to decide between those two is like trying to decide between I don't even know. I can't. Trying to decide between Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery is like trying to decide between peanut butter and chocolate. Like you can't. So they go together. So yeah, Blake Snell, but were a GM and Jordan Montgomery was more affordable, I would go. Well, actually, I would go the more affordable like if Jordan Montgomery was more affordable, then yeah, I would go Jordan Montgomery. But yeah, Blake Snell, sure. Gavin R wants to know how badly do you think the Rays will miss Tyler Glass now? Oof.
Bad.
How much time have you got, Gavin?
Yeah, bad. You
So
know,
bad.
he obviously his injury issues kind of had left the Rays hanging for a little bit. But
yes.
Man, was he a big part of that pitching staff and a lot of innings when he was healthy. Now you got to figure out where those other innings are going to come from. And no disrespect to anybody else in the Tampa Bay Rays rotation because they have a very solid pitching staff. But I just struggle to see where you're going to get that kind of output and that kind of and those kind of innings from. And it's going to be very much they're going to very much heavily rely on their offense. And heck, we don't even know what Shane McClanahan's going to look like coming back into this season.
Also true.
So I think it could get ugly for Tampa Bay.
How bad are the Rays going to miss Tyler Glass now, Gavin? The Rays pitching staff is sunk without Tyler Glass now. They are SOL. Shane McClanahan, no idea what you're going to get out of him. Tyler Glass now gone. I mean, the Rays are gonna have to rely on their offense. Yeah, good luck with that. The Rays pitching staff is sunk without Tyler Glass now. And as much as I've, even as a division rival, as much as I've sort of been been kind of a fan of the roster building approach and development approach that the Rays have taken over the last few years, this is the year that the Rays, the Smoke and Mirrors Act catches up with them, and they miss the playoffs. Carson, I think we both had the Rays. I know I had the Rays out of the playoffs. I don't remember if you had them in or out.
I've got them, I think, as my last. Yeah, I had them as my last wild card in the AL.
Yeah, I don't. No Tyler Glass, no. Shane McClanahan, a question mark. The pitching staff is, yeah. I don't see it. No, I think the Smoke and Mirrors Act catches up with the Rays this year. Sorry, Gavin. I'm assuming you're a Rays fan. No, I don't see it happening. Letting Tyler Glasnow go. Big mistake. For the Rays. All right. Moving right along to LER. What's the first thing you'd change as commissioner?
I mean, I feel like
I know where you're going.
I was gonna say, and I feel like we've talked about this before, and it's interesting because every time I think this question comes up, my answer changes. But especially given how much we've talked about it, I would say I would make a free agency deadline where you have to be signed at the very least, I'll say by February 15th, at the very latest. And if you don't, then you're SOL, or maybe I'd put something in like mid-season right around the trade deadline where you could sign again. But this has got to stop.
Trade deadline. Wow. Commissioner Carson's not messing around, ladies and gentlemen. No, I like it. I like it. I think if you're not signed by that deadline, trade deadline is what? The end of July, right? So, oof, man, that's a long time to sit, but yeah, I mean, I think it would light a fire under agents and teams to get these deals done. Yeah, no, I like it. First thing I change is commissioner. 2 words: salary cap.
Yeah, that too. That would be probably number 2 on my list of things I'd change.
Yep. I would put a salary cap in place, and in the process, and sort of along with that, fix the revenue sharing. I mean, a salary cap would go a long way in doing that, but salary cap, fix the revenue sharing, make the financial playing field more even. And since we're talking about number 2 on the list, get this stupid friggin' Diamond Sports, Bally Sports TV rights. Get this whole thing sorted out. Make all games available on MLB TV for all teams, for all fans in all markets. No blackouts.
Yeah.
Just done. No mas. Fans need to be able to watch their favorite teams no matter where they are, and MLB taking over. I mean, they're not necessarily taking over broadcast rights for all 30 teams, although that's not the worst idea. All games available on MLB TV for all fans in all markets. So if you're for example, being a Red Sox and Mariners fan, there were games last year where the Mariners were playing the Rockies, and I couldn't watch it on MLB TV because it was blacked out because I'm in the Colorado Rockies market. Tell me how that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a priority also. So, good question. And last but not least in the mailbag, Kaylee B, who's won. I love this. This is the question of the episode. Who's one up and coming player you could see winding up in Cooperstown? I love it.
Oh, this is hard because it feels like we're really going into the future here, but
yes, we are.
Well, and that's just
we're hopping in the DeLorean, Carson.
Yeah, no kidding. So, but before I give my answer, what parameters are we using for
I would say when I think young and up and coming players, I think guys like the Orioles we were talking about. I think Adley Rutschman. I think Gunnar Henderson. I think Ryan Mountcastle. I think Julio Rodriguez, Corbin Carroll, Zach Gallen. I think players with less than 5 years of MLB service. When I think young and upping players, I'm Jazz Chisholm, like guys like that. That's what I think of.
Okay. In that case, I will probably go with Julio Rodriguez.
Hell yeah.
I think either him or Corbin Carroll probably would be kind of my first 2. Granted, this guy's career still has a long way to go, but I could see Adley Rutschman following kind of the Joe Mauer trajectory. But for right now, I'd have to say Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Absolutely. Julio Rodriguez. I mean, any of those guys: Corbin Carroll, Zach Gallen, Jazz Chisholm. I mean, I know I said less than 5, but I mean Ronald Acuna Jr. Although I don't know if he's still considered young and up and coming. But there is when you look at seriously though, when you when you look at the just Google like young MLB rising stars or whatever, and the list is ridiculous. MLB is lousy with young up and coming players that are all going to be superstars. And it is one hell of an exciting time to be a baseball fan right now, because we've got these. I mean, you've got Juan Soto, you've got Vlad Jr., you've got Rafael Devers. Just an embarrassment of riches in young talent in MLB. And Carson, I may be going out on a limb here, but I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that the future of MLB is in good hands.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
But yeah, where I pressed to pick one, Kaylee asked for one young and up and coming player. I mean, Julio Rodriguez, obviously, but Carson already said that. So, if I had to place a bet on one up and coming MLB player who I would consider sort of a lock for Cooperstown, like I would go with, oh man. You said Gunnar Henderson too, didn't you?
I had also said Adley Rutschman.
Gunnar Henderson. Oh man. I'll go a little off here. How about a young catcher? Well, I don't know if he's considered up and coming anymore. But Jonah Heim, anybody?
Maybe.
Is he still considered? I mean, he's played what, 4 years? Yeah, he makes the cut.
Yeah,
he makes the cut for service time. Yeah, no, I could totally see Jonah Heim. I mean, just look at his numbers. Like, his numbers have trended up every year. So, yeah, no, I think Jonah Heim. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody, that's the mailbag. Don't forget to drop us a line at eighth-inningpod.com/mailbag or eighth-inning-strategy@gmail.com. Must-watch games. Yeah, we're not doing that yet. All of them. Duh. It's spring training. Let's get to our one last thing. I will let you do the honors, sir.
Yeah, I guess for my one last thing, I finally have my quote unquote season premiere one last thing that got delayed with stupid people in doing bad things in Kansas City, and then obviously with Thangye on our last episode. But very excited to be back behind the mic for season 3. Things are shaken up to be very very fun, very interesting. Should be an absolutely wild season once again this year. And very excited to be back with the co-host with the most to do what we do best and break it all down with the best baseball fans out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there, guys. Where spring training is in full swing. We're less than a month away from opening day, which is insane. A lot of exciting moves have been made. Some exciting moves still to come. With names like Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery and Matt Chapman still on the market. I think it's going to be a wild ride. I think it's going to be I think we're going to see a really competitive. I think we're going to see a really competitive season. I think we're going to see some fantastic division races and playoff races. But I do want to talk for a moment about the Chicago White Sox. So a story came out recently that White Sox owner Jerry Reinsdorf, I know, I feel the same way about him. Who, by the way, has been the Red Sox owner. Oh God, what a nightmare that would be. Reinsdorf's owned the White Sox since 1981. In that span, they have made 7. That's right. Count them. 7 playoff appearances. 4 American League Central championships, 2 American League West championships when before MLB went to the 3 division format when it was just East and West. 1 wild card appearance. They have won the American League pennant precisely 1 time. That was in 2005, which also happened to be the same year that they won the World Series. So 1981, I don't know how good your math is, but 1981 to 2024 is a long time, and those are not a lot of results. So imagine my surprise when I saw an article the other day that said Jerry Reinsdorf had asked the city of Chicago for public funds to build a new stadium for the White Sox because God knows they need it. Yeah, no denying the White Sox are in need of a new stadium. With guaranteed rate field, I think is the current moniker. I think that's what they're calling it these days. It used to be U.S. Cellular Field, and before that, it was Comiskey Park. Yeah, it's one of the older stadiums. And the White Sox are definitely in need of new digs. But Jerry, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that Reinsdorf went to the city of Chicago and its taxpayers with his hands open, looking for a handout to build a new stadium. But if I'm the city of Chicago and I'm the taxpayers, Jerry Reinsdorf has more than enough money to build a new stadium on his own. Not only does he own the White Sox, he also owns the Chicago Bulls. But if I'm the city of Chicago and I'm the Chicago taxpayers, I'm saying, sorry, Jerry, ain't happening. The team has, sure, they've had some success, but for the most part, the White Sox have not performed. Have been a pretty big disappointment, to be honest, under Reinsdorf's ownership, and it's just not enough. The White Sox have not done enough for the city of Chicago to justify spending public funds on a new stadium for Jerry Reinsdorf, who can well afford one on his own. And I'm sorry, this might be tough for White Sox fans to hear, but yeah, no, I don't see the White Sox getting a new stadium anytime soon. At least not while Reinsdorf is holding the reins. And that just really sucks because White Sox fans, you guys are one of the best fan bases around, one of the most passionate fan bases around. And frankly, you deserve better. So but there you go. That's the reality of pro sports that we live in. These billionaire several times over owners, looking for public money for their stadiums. And well, if you want the money, you got to give us results, and the White Sox haven't. So yeah, that's where I'm at on I will refrain from going on a rant about Jerry Reinsdorf, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, well said. I mean, can't really say it much better. Ever since Ozzie Guillen left that organization,
Yep.
To be quite frank, they've sucked.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I mean, granted, I'm not super familiar with the state of that stadium, but from what I can tell from watching Twins games and stuff, it seems fine. But
I mean, it's not falling apart. It's not like the Coliseum in Oakland. But it's
everything about the Athletics is falling apart.
Yes, that's fair. I mean, it's not it's not Tropicana Field. There's the first one. First one of the season. Yep, first one of the season. Now it's officially a new season because I have taken my first dig at Tropicana Field. No, seriously though, it's not falling apart, but it's an older stadium, and the White Sox absolutely are in need of a new stadium. But yeah, for Reinsdorf to go to the city of Chicago and ask for public money for it is just utterly ridiculous. And it sucks to be a White Sox fan. Yeah, the Whites, that's a really good point. The White Sox have been pretty terrible since Ozzie Guillen left.
Yeah, they've been trash.
That was the last time they were good. Ugh. Of course, then we had how could we forget the Tony La Russa experiment? Yeah.
Oh, that's not on Tony though.
No, it's not on Tony, but no, absolutely not on Tony. That's on Reinsdorf. That's another one of his, yes, let's hire a manager who is clearly beyond his prime, who with health issues, come on. Anyways, like I said, I'll restrain myself from going on a rant about Jerry Reinsdorf. That could be its whole episode all by itself. Yeah, that's all we got for you guys. Yeah, I guess we started the show off with kind of a heavy note and with sad news about Stacey Wakefield, obviously, but we've said it before, and I fear we'll say it many more times, my friend, but that is just another reminder of the precious and finite nature of life. We only get to go on this crazy ride once, and the reality is you just don't know. You just don't know when it's your turn to get off the ride. And I'm pretty sure the Wakefields didn't expect to lose Stacey so quickly after Tim. But that's it. You just don't know. And in light of that, let it be another reminder to all of us to live every day to its absolute fullest, and make sure that you don't let a single day pass without showing and telling and letting the people you care about, let them know that you care about them, let them know that you love them, let you know that you cherish them, let them know that how much they mean to you, because you just don't know. Today could be the last time that you see them. And I think one of the worst feelings and one of the worst things that can happen is letting a single day pass without letting them know that.
Yeah, 100% agree. Unfortunately, it's one of those things, like you said, you never know, and it's a chilling but yet very true reminder to, like you said, live every day and make sure that everybody you care about knows that, because on a very similar note, you never know what smiling at somebody on the sidewalk could do for that person. So
yep,
it
could change their day.
Exactly. Not to steal from Jerry Springer or AJ from last season, but take care of yourselves, take care of each other.
Oh man, I love me some Springer. All right, everybody, that's enough of the heavy stuff. That's a wrap for this episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, whether you watched us live, whether you watched 5 minutes of the stream, whether you watched the whole thing, if you're listening to us, a couple of days from now, just remember we do this going forward. We're going to be live every Sunday on YouTube, Twitter/X, and Twitch. You can also catch us wherever you get your podcasts, at Linktree/8th Inning Stretch. Give us a follow on Twitter X at 8th Inning Pod. And for more, including our blog, 2 Strike Count, and to sign up for our newsletter, head to 8thinningpod.com. And please take a moment to support the show. We appreciate all you guys do for us. Every little bit helps to keep us bringing you the best damn baseball content this side of home plate. So you can support the show If you're watching, you can use the QR code up in the corner. Or if you're listening to us later, you can go to eighth-inningpod.com/donate. And yeah, that's all we got for you guys. Everybody have an awesome weekend, and we will be back with you on Sunday.